A freezing cold welcome to the Forensics Detailing channel. Today's video we're going to be looking at paste waxes and a paste wax. This is Koch W0.01 hand wax W0.01. This product costs £96 and you get a 175ml jar of wax in this kit or box, if you like. Water beading redefined is the main product claim there. Now, so £96 for 175ml available from Into Detailing. You might be able to get 10% off with the code Forensics. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, then it's not discountable. I don't know about this particular product. So we've got an instruction guide in the kit there, which is good. It's probably going to tell you a little bit about it, which is good. It tells us that they describe it as a premium sealing wax or wax sealing for hydrophobic high paint gloss surface. Premium carnauba wax which seals long-lasting protection, smooth surface with advanced hydrophobicity. Wax can be a bit sticky compared to modern like ceramic sprays and stuff, but we know wax is always glossy. There's good instructions as well. With a premium product, like, you'd expect some good instructions, and the rest of it's all in the different languages. So I like that. I can sit there and read that and learn about how to apply it and how it's going to cure on the panel and all that sort of stuff. So we'll follow that a bit later on. Let's move into the actual product itself. So here is the wax in this box. Now, this looks like it comes in a glass jar. Sorry, to me, it looks like a painted glass, doesn't it, to me? Very nice looking. Glass jars for wax is definitely more premium. The downside with a glass jar is if you drop it, you might smash it. That's the downside. Let's just open this up and have a look. The label's all on nicely. It looks good to me. Looks good. It looks, what do you think on the presentation and the overall product? It looks technical but well put together. Now let's just get the lid off of this and have a look. So it's got a little sealing disc on it to keep a good seal on the wax, which might be important. Now we have a look at the actual paste wax itself. Let's get some light on it. So what we can see is there's a slight yellowness to that wax. We can see a slight graininess in there, and we can see some frothy bubbles around the outside, which you sometimes get when you blend waxes in a little stirrer or even on an industrial scale, that at the top you can get like a little bit of froth. And some components that you can put in a wax, limonene is the one that comes to mind, can make a bit of froth, so that when you pour your wax out, even if this was hand poured, at the top you get all these little bubbles forming, and then the wax goes off and hardens, and where those bubbles are, they harden and then pop. It's not too much shrinkage. There's not too much cracking. There's some very slight shrinkage in the middle, which is, or collapsing as it's called, but nothing bad. So they might have done a little staggered pour on this. I just want to see how oily it is. Very oily, that's nice. Yeah, good, because it could be a dry wax that needs more working to pick up. How hard is the wax? Pretty hard, yeah, so that's quite a solid oily paste wax, and I just want to get a sniff of it. I can smell a little bit of carnauba, and I can't smell any strong solvent smells. I can smell some solvent, but they're using low aromatics there, I think, which is nice. Yeah, very tough wax. So there's our composition of our paste wax. It looks like a traditional type of blend that's using carnauba mainly, and has hydrophobic material in it. Now, as part of the review, we need to cover price. So £96 for 175ml in a kit form. You also get an applicator, which is nice, and that does look like a nice soft premium applicator. That's a good applicator actually. That does make a difference with a premium product, having an applicator with it that fits into the jar, so you're not like scraping out with a massive applicator. I think that's really important. And also they give you a cloth to buff it. Let's have a look at the cloths. This particular cloth, to me, that looks like a dual pile. Yeah, that is a dual pile microfiber. So it's not the best quality cloth I've ever put my hands on, but it's not the worst. It's a soft, shaggy kind of cloth, but an open pile cloth would be the most premium way to go with a paste wax. But then sometimes the brands don't like giving those because they can be more prone to leaving little sort of like whiskers on the paintwork when you buff. This is dual-sided closed loop. Can you see that? So those loops don't give up fibre so much. So it might be their choice of a suitable towel, but it's okay. That's probably worth a couple of quid. Applicator a quid. Box and packaging's never cheap. Let's have a look at what it's, we're going to give it some comparisons here. So here's the Auto Glim, you know, another large brand, £56 for 120 grams, so 96 for 175. Built Hamber Double Speed, that's a carnauba hydrophobic wax, similar kind of properties on paper. £16.95 for 250 grams, so that's so cheap compared to this particular product, and that's a durable hydrophobic wax that it's probably going to be one of the cheapest kind of premium waxes on the market, I think. Colonite 915, a curing carnauba based wax, not quite as hydrophobic, £23.99 for 340 mil. So the Colonite 915 is a, where is it? There it is. This is an iconic wax that's in my Hall of Fame. That offers more value. That's the Auto Glim product. That's a fantastic wax. That's the double speed. If we look at some rival brands, Scholl, a German kind of abrasive brand that are sort of probably a main local national rival to Koch, £215 for 200 mil. So the Scholl Concept wax offering, which is not an old wax, it's been around for about 6 or 7 years, is very expensive. So it's that high-end thing. And of course, going right to the top of the market, you've got the Swiss Wax Best of Show wax, which is over here, which is a phenomenally good wax, but not a durability monster or anything, just really nice to put on and buff off. Very expensive at £270 for 200 mil. So the bottom line with this is a really interesting point. Koch Chemie, or Kochemi as some of you will correct me in the comments, are a major kind of manufacturing brand. They released this wax about 3 or 4 years ago. They've been around for like decades, so it's very late in the day to bring out a paste wax for them. And the question was, what do they do? What should their approach be? Do they make a high-end show wax like that? Do they make an affordable durability wax like the Built Hamber? Do they go at the sort of Colonite market, the £30 or £23 thing? Do they go sort of cheaper, or do they go really high end? And I think what they've gone is not right at the top. They've not gone for that Swiss wax kind of price. They've gone cheaper than Scholl, but that is an expensive wax, isn't it? At £96 for 175 mil. You know, that's not cheap. Now, the reason this is significant is I think it sort of sets a statement, because if they'd have priced this wax at £20 or £30, and they could have done, I think you'll sell a lot more of it, potentially, you know, that's where to go. But maybe Koch felt that if they release this wax, it's so late in the day and there's so many millions of paste waxes out there, it might not have been a big seller. So they'll make it more like a premium product and sell it to their professional detailers and commercial kind of organisations that want to wax and all that. And they might sell a bit less because of the price. That's what I'm thinking. So there's all our initial review stuff covered on appearance and price scale comparisons. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get this onto a test panel, let it cure for at least 24 hours, maybe a bit longer. And I'm going to test it against another large commercial offering that's, you know, premium in price as well, but probably a little bit cheaper. The Auto Glim, which is very hydrophobic, mid-range kind of durability. And then I'm going to test it against, on the same panel, with the Fuso wax, because it's, you know, it's 20, 30-year-old technology, but it's the old version. it sets the benchmarking for what's the longest lasting wax on the market. So by comparing it against these two, I will be able to scale it. That's where I'm going with this. Okay, so we're just going to apply this to our test panel. Just want to get good light on there so you can see what we're doing. We have the light the other way around. So yeah, that fits in that pot perfectly. Look, snug. Nice though. Yeah, that's a good fit. Yeah, it means you can pick the wax up, and you can see as we work it over, that oiliness within there, within that formula comes out. Can really smell that carnauba. Right, now let's put this on. I want you to be able to see it. So we'll just put it on in little circles. Yeah, it's nice and oily. It's lovely actually, it's quite buttery. This is quite a thick layer of wax, so we'll just thin it down a bit. We'll put this on a polished car as well. That's really nice and spreadable actually. Lovely, yeah. So what I'm hoping from this is that it goes on to fully dry cure. Yeah, really nice and spreadable, like butter that is. Quite often when it applies like butter and it's oily like that, it does affect durability, but you know, this could have really good formulation and really good durability, but apply like butter and that'll be a real feather in the cap. So how long do we have to leave this? It says till it dries, so I'm assuming about 10 minutes. It's very cold in here, so if I have to leave it longer, I'll leave it longer, but I wait until it's dry. Okay, I'm back. The product has cured. Interesting, it's dried. It's been over 10 minutes. It's toughened up, but it's interesting. It's not like completely bone dry, but that's cured. I just want to show you the buff. So let's go in with that. Oh, it's a good buff. Yeah, it's a nice buff. Yeah, it's good. It's really easy. Just a little bit, just needs that a little bit more wiping. That's really good. Oh, that's good. It's about as good as it gets. Okay, so it hasn't perfected the panel. It's never going to, but it's darkened the panel off. When we've got other waxes on there, we'll see how well that compares with the darkening effect. But the buff on that, the spread on that, superb. The buff on it, superb as well, really good. Okay guys, so on to the application of the wax. This panel has been polished with S40, panel wiped and degreased, and I'm going to do half the bonnet and half the wing and film it with you guys and talk about what it's like to apply. So applicator fits great into there, the pickup on it's good, just like a little gentle couple of spins. The middle bit doesn't pick up the wax, but that will get primed as when we use it. So we've got good shiny light here, so let's go right in and see what this is like to spread. So it really feels oily, which is good. This feels like I'm applying a show wax to me, really nice and buttery and slick and slidey, like applying a butter over the panel. It feels like a show wax, really good. Really good spread on this. A lot more oily than the Auto Glim, which is drier and more waxy. I mean, it's tiny little things, but very spreadable, this wax. And I haven't got to go back and get more. So that one pickup can easily do a wing. Could probably carry on, do the whole bonnet with this, which is great. Yeah, so that's the first thing I notice. So where I started, you can see the wax is kind of a bit thicker over here. So as long as you get it over the whole panel, and we'll let that cure off. I always get the inside of that arch. Very easy to spread and apply. Some waxes you really need to you really need to go in and get quite a lot of wax on, and then like you've got to kind of work them to spread them like. But this stuff, can't see the light. Look how easy. Look how well it applies. So it's very well oiled. It reminds me of laying out the Swiss wax. Still don't need more wax. Look at this. Yeah, just really nice wax to work with, that is. You whip that on over your car. That's as good as it gets, really. Let's get that edge. I put a tape line there so we can have a look at the differences after it's cured. So spreadable. That's great, that is. You wouldn't, I could carry on. Like, I could carry on and do the other side of the bonnet. I'm going to do that. I'm going to save that for another wax. So easy to spread. That's really good. So you could have just gone a bit more disciplined than I did and just maintain that kind of thing, you know, to make sure you get really good coverage. But it was so easy. You could just go up and down if you wanted to. You could have, you know, I usually say with paste waxes, like little gentle circles is a good way to spread them. You don't even need to with this. It's like a sealant. That's fantastic. Yeah, so that's applied that there, and we'll leave that now till it's dry. So we'll come back. Okay guys, so this has had over 10 minutes. It's hazed up, and I think it's about as dry as it's going to get. But if you poke it, there's still a slight oiliness to it, and I don't think it will get any drier than this. So I think it's ready to come off. So let's try and get the camera in at a good angle and just see what this is like to buff with its own cloth. It's really good. It's not sticky at all. It's not grabby. It's just like, I want to just sort of float the microfiber with no pressure over the top. Look, yeah, it's really good. That's a great buff. It's really easy to buff. And it's not leaving a smear as well. I just want to get the light so you can see it. So there you can see the wax. Let's just gently swipe over, look. Really good. It's impressive. It's one of the best buffs I think I've seen on a wax. That is a great buff. Panel does not feel grippy. Panel feels slick, which sometimes with paste waxes, they can be a bit grabby, and then like after you've buffed them, there is a slight polish feel, but the microfiber can stick. This is slidey. That feels amazing. Yeah, okay, let's just get all of this off. So you could buff it quickly if you want to as well. Let's just get a nice section of panel. We'll get a clean bit of cloth. Let's go here. Just drop that onto it and just gently swipe. Yeah, it's easy. It's a little bit, it's not a single swipe, but it's a very easy buff. Yeah, that's a bit more, I can feel a bit more of that sort of carnauba thing going on, but the buff on it is phenomenal. That's really good. Really good. You do just need to go over it just a little bit more than once if you get the idea, but you wouldn't be fighting this product. You most definitely would not be chasing it. You would just, now I'm sort of like, I've got most of it off. I just go back over the panel and the panel is slidey. Really slick to buff. It's impressive. That's impressive. It's a nice feel. I mean, we've prepped the paintwork well as well, which is going to amplify that. You know, if you're putting wax onto a contaminated, horrible car with dry, rough paint, then it's not going to help. But that just feels really good. So, spread good, buff good. Not a complete dry cure, but not a show wax type cure. You know, it does dry off, but the film it leaves behind is very easy to remove and leaves a slick finish. So really, we need to test that slickness on a tilt panel. And sometimes if a product is easier to buff, then the durability, you know, it hasn't gone rock hard and really tough, then perhaps the durability won't be the same and quite as good. So that's the only unknown at this point, but the application is superb. Let's just have a look at our panel and just appreciate it for a second. The whole car will look good on camera, so both sides, but yeah, that does look good. There's no doubt about that. Okay, so we'll move on. We'll move on in the test. It's lovely. I tell you, there's always still a place for paste waxes when they're like this. Okay guys, I'm back. It's been over a week for me, but for you it would just be the click of the fingers. I've been doing some more testing on this and I'm ready to finish off the video now. So forgive seeing my back, Koch W0.01 wax. So we've gone through and we've done all the cost comparisons on this particular product, value for money. I just want to give it a mark out of 10 for value. And I'm going to go in with a 3 out of 10, okay? And that's based on the fact that this wax, its price point at around £95 for 175ml. You couldn't say it was average value for money. It's an expensive wax, so it has to be less than a kind of 5 out of 10. Very premium, but that's a rough indication of the value for money or cost proposition buying this particular product. The next thing is the application mark. So how a wax is to spread, how it's presented, I guess, or actually maybe not, how it is to buff, which is very important, and what the curing system on this product is like. Overall, the application for this particular wax, I am going to give a 9 out of 10 for, mainly because the spreadability of the product is fantastic. It goes on like a show wax, very spreadable, very slidey when you applied it. The curing system on it is good. Give it about 10 minutes and you get about a 95% cure. Not a complete peach, not a 10 out of 10 cure to a dry, crusty, soft crust, but a dry film that is almost fully cured and buffs really nicely. And when you buff, the panel feels slick under the microfiber, which is important. It's not a grabby, sticky wax to buff. So overall, I'm going to give the application a 9 out of 10, which is pretty cool. Next up, we'll just talk about the finish on the car, the slickness, okay? You heard me talking in the video, the paintwork felt amazing, like after I'd applied this particular product, which is important for me. I like the product to feel slidey. When it shines and it's slidey, it's good. However, when we did the kind of tilt test table and I had the Fuso and the SI Ramics on there, just by feeling the kind of microfiber over the surface, it didn't have the low friction qualities of those two particular products, and even tilting it proved that. So it's some of those synthetic materials like graphene, like PTFE, have low slip characteristics which come into play when you're doing this sort of testing. But this is a slidey wax, so I'd still say slickness would be like 6 on a bad day, being mean, 6.5 perhaps, and 7 on a good day. I'm going to go with 6.5 on the slickness. The water behaviour, the beading, on application, after you give this 24 hours to cure off, you could leave it longer if you like, the product is extremely hydrophobic to the point where it's difficult to separate it with market leading products like the Fuso and the Autoglim. They're top beaders, those products, and this beads probably as well as the Autoglim, maybe slightly not quite as beady and repellent as the Fuso, but you struggle to tell and you have to really study it. So overall, I'm going to give the beadage hydrophobicity. This is on application. I'm going to give it like I think 8.5 would be, I think about an 8.5 is probably about right, maybe a 9. It's very, very hydrophobic, which is cool. The next thing is the gloss data. I'm going to overlay you that data with the increments of how this particular product performed. There are very small differences with when you measure and test all of this. So the data's there. You can have a look at that data. It blackened off the panel. All 4 of them did that. So it's got a nice darkening effect and filling effect with it because it's a resinous kind of soft dissolved product and it fills haze and swirls. It does that really well. But it's the way it delivers its gloss through that easy application and buff. It doesn't leave anything on the panel behind that you could come back and see later on. So I think it is a really good looking wax. And once you've put it on your car's going to look amazing. It's also carnauba based, which I feel has something which is hard to quantify over synthetic products, but there's something about a Carnauba paste wax. So from my perspective, just have a look at the gloss data and go with that. Now, durability, this product, out of the 4 products I tested, this is the least durable. That's based on about 11 passes over a week. And I've done like 3 today to try and get a bit more degradation. I don't know how long this will last on the panel. I can guess. What I'm seeing is it's degrading slightly faster than the Autoglim product. It's going down to a sheeting action now, whereas the Autoglim has still got a little bit of push. You know, even though it's degraded, there's a difference that you can kind of see. I know the Autoglim, I don't know what they claim, but I would imagine they'll say that's like a 6-month wax. And the reality is with the Autoglim, after 3 months, you probably want to reapply. It might be a 3 to 4 month product. The Autoglim product might be like a 6.5 out of 10 for durability. You know, it's not a market leading one. It won't keep up with the Fuso. The double speed will beat it as well on durability, but it's decent. So therefore, I'm going to give this probably a 5 out of 10 for durability. It's not, it does have some detergent resistance, decent durability, more than what a show wax will give you. But it's not, in my head, a durability, performance, technical wax fully. Okay, now we go on to the important stuff, because with paste waxes, you really have what I call down here as show waxes, which can be fully organic, essential, you know, oils, organic oils, solvent, and different blends of waxes. And that could be it. Fully organic, old school products that can wash off the panel, but they're nice and slidey. They can be really, you know, they can be cool in their own right, but typically they don't have that detergent resistance. This isn't like that. This sits somewhere in the middle. At this end, you have what I call performance waxes. Performance waxes. A classic example of that is your Fuso. Your Fuso coat. It's a performance wax. It's not a show wax. It fully cures hard. It's very durable. It's better than most sealants. It might be the longest lasting non-ceramic coating product on the market. And whenever I get a paste wax, I want to know what it is. Is it a technical performance wax or is it an out and out show wax? What you have with this particular product is something which spreads like a show wax, has some curing elements of a performance wax, has this additional synthetic hydrophobic polymers in it, which make it be like a performance protection product. But it still sits somewhere in this middle ground, which is a good place to be, because it can be an all-rounder. Now, personal bias of what you're looking for in a product will come into what you're trying to get when you buy a particular product. So in other words, there's people out there that may not like this product because it won't last as long on the panel as Fuso, and it costs over 3 times the price. So in their head, this product is no good because I can get something that's cheaper and it lasts longer. Fine, it's my job to give you that information. There's some other people that might really like the show waxes. You get the idea. If you're looking for a paste wax that is Carnauba based, and I like Carnauba based paste waxes, that's one reason for me to pick it over a synthetic modern sealant or ceramic coating, is that whole Carnauba thing. So it's a bonus that it's in there. What I want is perhaps something, what makes the perfect wax perhaps is something that you can put down and it's really nice to use, but you feel it's not going to wash off the panel, and you're going to get some protective performance. So perhaps this product as a winter product, you know, to get you through winter is less suitable, and you're not going to, after you've applied it and the car's been out in the rain, it's got road film on it, you know, and it gets a bit dirty, you're not going to notice the fact that it looks very good. So it's more a summery type product, a spring, summer, autumn product that you should be reapplying every few months, and you should really enjoy applying. Let me put it this way, if I could make my perfect wax, I would do a similar thing to what Koch have done here, which is go with Carnauba, go with that user experience that people are looking for, but improve it and make it kind of bead well on application, make it slick, make it nice. This wax, would it make my Hall of Fame 10 kind of personal favourite waxes? Yes, it would. Where would it go in that list, and where would it go in that ranking? I rate this so much it would be in the top 3. The problem with it perhaps is fundamentally what it's giving you is quite similar to the Auto Glim, with a slightly better spread and a slightly slicker feel, but not the same quality of curing, and the Auto Glim, the film that you buff off is really cool. But it's probably just as good as the Auto Glim. It's a little bit more expensive. So this would be probably one of the top 3 waxes that I've ever used, and that alone probably speaks for itself. But it's the job of the video to give you the reasons not to buy it. So don't buy this as a technical durability product, because there's products which will outperform it. In addition to this, don't buy this product because it's good value for money. The Built Hammer Double Speed Wax is £16.95, and it will last longer and you get more of it, and it will hold on to its hydrophobicity longer from what I'm seeing. So there's your reasons not for buying it. But anyone that's into paste waxes, I think, will love this product and appreciate it for how it goes on, how it buffs, what it's going to do for you for the first couple of months, when if it does rain and stuff, the water's going to be flying off your car. I also think the presentation of the product is as good as it gets, like putting it in the kit with the microfiber, you know, plush cloth and an applicator and instructions, and the design of the jar, the glass jar, everything about it is premium. So yes, it is expensive, but it's a premium product. It is a top class wax. The fact that this is Koch W0.01 or Koch W0.01 with a T, the fact that this is their first paste wax and it's this good tells me that they've got some seriously clever formulators that could just go out and make this, and it's so good. There's a lot of work's gone into this to get it to where it is. Yeah, I mean, the consistency of the wax as well after you've used it, the way, look how perfect it is now. It's even like using it for the first time has just leveled it down. It's just coming out of the jar so nicely. So I think that summarizes everything that I've got to get across about this particular product. It's an absolute peach of a paste wax, one of the best that I've ever used, and you have the reasons for buying it and not for buying it. So that's this video over and done with. This wax is going in my little cooler, and I'm keeping that, and my gut feeling is I want to use it more. I really want to get it on my cars. I want to get through it. I've been saying that about all of them. And when I go over, and when I go over to my wax drawer and I'm opening them up, a lot of times I'm not going for the like the Fuso or the Built Hammer or the performance waxes, because I want to enjoy putting it out. And often my brain goes to the Auto Glim, the Swiss Wax Best of Show, then the Show Concepts, or Pete's 53, funny enough. Those are the 4 that I enjoy applying the most. And this would be in that discussion, and I think it would be ahead of the Pete's 53 and the Show Concepts in what I'd want to put on my car. It would be a debate between the Auto Glim, the Best of Show, and this. So yeah, an absolute belter. I'm definitely keeping that. I'm going to run out of space in that fridge. There we go, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll just show you my new haircut. Been in the wheelie bin with the clippers. There's probably a few tufts that I've missed, but it's good enough. Take care. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon on the Forensics Detailing channel.
gone. Where was I